What's one motherfucker you woke up and say, all right, I can't wait to play this motherfucker?
Say what now?
What's one person that you just like, I can't wait to play his ass?
I mean, that's a lot of different people. I mean, it all depends on, what situation is that. Are you talking about a quarterback? You talking about a running
No, I'm
back? You
talking
talking
about
about what the fuck
somebody
you
up
talking
front.
about?
I want to know, like, when you say goddamn, like, for instance.
Do I want an easy day or do I want a hard day?
Hard day.
I want a hard day.
Yeah,
Who gave you the
I'm talking
hardest
about
day?
who gave you the hardest day.
Who gave you crazy work?
Yeah.
Hashtag crazy
easy
word.
day.
Yeah,
You have a
well,
lot of easy days.
I gotta sit there. You guys be talking to me, and then the area, and then y'all saying certain things that crazy work. I'm fine. Now I got to disseminate what the crazy work mean. Okay.
You got his number? I gave him crazy work.
We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get appeals. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, despite the skills. He been riding for the fam. You gotta light the wheels straight up. But in the past bad, work up in the trash bag. I'll pass a lot to take the test before I pass class. And my family needed bread. I had to come correct. That's why I keep airing it out like I just passed gas.
Athletes are some of the healthiest people on the planet. Adopt a lifestyle with an all-new HOA Plus app.
What's up, athletes? It's your girl, Maya
HOA
here.
Plus delivers daily workout classes with real coaches tailored just for you. We are making it easier to train, fuel, and recover where you are.
You made it.
Live like an athlete. Join the tribe on HOA Plus.
Misunderstood. A lot of athletes are misunderstood because when we show up on the football field or the court, step in the arena, people come for one thing. They come to see us shoot a basketball, tackle somebody, throw a touchdown. And when you introduce something new, then you have to have that conversation that we're more than an athlete. So misunderstood is an adjective that describes not only this show, I Am Athlete, but the people that sit on this show. Super excited about another episode. Season 4 has been phenomenal. Thank you guys for your support. I'm excited to sit down with this person, Ashley. I said misunderstood, but also this person really just don't care about what you think of him. And I think that's important because a lot of us are sensitive and it hurts us in the long run sometimes when you try to take on everybody's opinions.
So is your word misunderstood?
Misunderstood and don't give a damn.
So misunderstood, unapologetic.
There you
That
go.
seems to be a trend.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna go multi-layered. I think that we see different versions of people in their lives and we expect them maybe to be one way versus the other, depending on what they do, depending on the status that they have. But I think that people are multi-layered, and I think we forget that. And I think when we see that in 3D, as you said, as unapologetic as possible, I think it's a reminder that people aren't perfect and people have layers.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with game changer since everybody provided the description. The 3-4 defense didn't exist until this person stepped on a football field. Tell me another person that created an entire defense.
Well, I say this. Like you said, he did change the game. For a defensive player, I've never seen anybody ever walk the earth that was as gifted as him as a defensive player. My word is grit.
You're kind of mysterious a little bit, right? Like you don't do a lot of interviews. You don't sit down with everyone, and I think that was one of the first questions I wanted to ask you, why? It's like you're shy away. A lot of people want to be in front of the camera, especially our legends. We talk about our GOATs. Why don't you like the camera?
I don't see a need for it. If you want to know what I'm doing, read the paper, the front page of the paper next week. They'll tell you what I'm doing. I love the sports, but I love my, to be quiet. I love to be unnoticed as much as I can. I was listening to your introduction. Do I really care? Do I really give a fuck? All right? I don't know. Do I? And sometimes, I care about what My girl says to me, my lady, I said I care about what my mama says. I care about what my father says. Care about what my kids think.
Right.
I care about what my friends think. I care about what people think. But I'm not gonna kiss their ass for they could be. He's nice. Guys, I am who I am. I'm not a politician. I'm not a writer. I'm not a song singer. I'm not a rapper. I'm a football player.
Yes.
And this is what I do. This is what I do. And I hope you understand I've done it to the best that I can do it. All right? This is what I can do. Excuse my language, I mean.
No, you're
Let
good.
me
No,
ask
we're
you
good.
something right there.
Okay.
Are you the best defensive player, or are you the best player to ever play football?
I'm not gonna say I'm the best player to ever play football.
What about
But-
defense?
Am I the best defensive player? Okay. If not, who?
Brandon?
Reggie White.
Reggie White's a great player, and I put him up there in the same class as myself. Every time I walk into a room, or I pick up a paper or something, it's LT. Hey, I see an article. They talk about all these people, and then always at the last, my name always shows up in the last sentence of the last paragraph, just before they say greatest of all time. Okay.
So there's a couple things for me. When you were talking about who you are and
Yeah.
what you care about, you said I'm a football player. So what is a football player? Because you're retired, right? So
Yes.
I found that interesting that you referred to yourself as a football player.
You know, people ask me all the time, well, hey, about this business, I've lost a lot of money in businesses. Because in the game of football, I know I know what's going on. I know when I was on the field, I know what the guy beside me doing. I know what the guy beside him is doing. I know what everybody on that side is doing. What this guy's doing behind me. What this guy's doing behind me. Well, hey, DBs, you guys are in the game too. I know what you are doing. I know what everybody's doing. Sometimes life, I get confused. Things happen. Simple as that. I say I'm a football player, and I say it proudly. I say it proudly. I go out here. I understand regiment. I understand you got preparation. I understand dedication. I understand going out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. I understand all that shit. I understand all that stuff, and that's what I do on the football field. It's a little bit different in life.
Right.
Would you say, and this reminds me of something Odell said when he was playing for the Giants, and there was all this media scrutiny that he was facing, and he came out and said, I'm not having fun anymore. Football's not fun for me anymore. And I kind of feel like Kyrie Irving is similar in that sense that he loves the sport. He loves the game. He loves the grind. He eats, breathes, and sleeps it. But he hates the politics that come with being a professional athlete. Would you say that was the hardest part for you? Was the politics? Was the everything that came outside of what you did in the gym, on the field, with your teammates?
You got to understand, though, back in the days when I was playing football, I'm a little bit older than.
You 64?
Yeah, almost 64. Yeah, a couple days. So I, like I said, I know what everybody's doing. I know what life's about, and I look at it nowadays, in you guys' era. Would I have survived this era?
Absolutely
Probably not. Because you understand, if something happens on Monday, or Saturday night, or Sunday after a game, all you gotta do is make it to Tuesday. Okay, you make it to Tuesday, shit, ain't nobody gonna know shit. So I'm saying,
Explain that. What do you mean?
When the media.
Because
the media,
moves so
social
quickly.
media, and all this.
Social
Social
media,
media is so strong. I mean, listen, I got in some bullshit, and on Monday I said, hey, I'm counting down the hours just to get past Monday. Get past Monday.
To reset.
Listen, because it resets on Tuesday because it wasn't enough stations. There's not enough to worry about what the hell
was coming out.
Well, yeah, what you
Not
doing?
enough channels.
Yeah, not enough channels.
Him being in the Mecca
But
of New
New
York,
Yorkers
you'd be
also
like,
know how to mind their business.
you was in New York, like that's like the Mecca of the media. Like
Okay,
I would,
and?
I would
And?
think they
No.
would be more.
Plus, hey, listen, hold up. I gave them their headlines. Don't worry about it. They had enough headlines from me.
If you feed them
Yeah.
good
I'm gonna
stuff that
feed
they
them.
can write, they look the other way.
Yeah.
They will.
TMZ didn't exist. The biggest thing probably, in the 90s was like Page 6 was like,
Yeah,
you
that's
ended
Page
up in
6,
Page
right,
6. It was
right,
like, but
right. Page
eventually
6.
that would move on. Now
All right,
it's-
did y'all really drink beer and smoke cigarettes in the locker room at halftime?
What, they don't do that no more?
They banned that.
Bro, if I would have been in the league right now, I'd probably be smoking a
can't
blunt
even-
after every game.
You can't even dip.
What's the difference between smoking
You can't
weed
dip.
and a
You
cigar?
can't dip. No, you can't dip in the
It's
NFL.
legal. It's
Absolutely.
You talking
legal.
after a game or at halftime?
No,
Those
they
are
said-
different.
Yeah,
No,
they
we
smoking
talking
at
about-
halftime.
They don't even have beer after the game. No, beer after the game.
That's
beer.
done now, but back in their era, though, you would come in the locker room, they would have uppers, downers sitting there.
Oh, wow.
Bears sitting there, yeah.
But my point is, like, Joe them, they smoking cigars after every win. I would be in there smoking weed. It's legal.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No. You ain't
I
smoking
run
no
for
weed
my-
in
I
the
run for one of my teammates
You
to hit a
ain't
joint to hit a
smoking no
cigarette.
weed in the locker room. No.
No, I'm just saying if it was today's time. Because
Yeah.
today's
Oh,
time,
did
they not
now
getting
y'all
tested
can
for
smoke
weed.
weed in
you know
the
what I
locker
mean?
room?
No,
You
I'm saying
smoke
they
weed
smoke-
in the locker room? When did you smoke weed in the locker room?
I done smoked a vape in the locker room. Like a vape pen.
I ain't asked you that. I said you smoke weed.
Before the game?
Man,
It's
man,
weed.
man,
Weed
listen.
in the vape.
I ain't never,
I know
listen, I
that.
played 1 year in the program, and my wife can tell you this, and I tried my best to cheat the out of them the whole year. I've always smoked before every game. I've never played a game without smoking, pretty much besides the year that I was in the program, right around.
Were you good? Did you play better or you play worse?
You tell me.
What year was it? I don't know. I got to
The
check.
year I was in the program, I was horrible.
Okay, so you needed
15
it.
was the year I got out the program. I think I was in there 13. Oh, it was bad. I didn't even want to go to work.
Before we move on, because we could talk about the media stuff all day in different eras, we can't just jump over this whole then who thing, right? Like greatest defensive
Hold on,
player.
wait.
Because you brought up Reggie White.
That's the only person
But
you can really name.
I like Aaron Donald. No, I'm saying
Man,
Aaron
we've
Donald.
been arguing on the show, but he ain't had them same type of nuts when you was sitting right here.
Who?
You.
You talking about he? I
Aaron
won't
Donald.
say. I didn't.
When I asked you, now rewind the camera. I said, so say something, Brandon. So the conversation that we had earlier.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
Brandon is a Pittsburgh guy, and the argument that we had was you and Aaron Donald. He went with Aaron Donald.
Okay.
You know, of course, who I went with. You know what I mean?
But
I'm
you
your
gotta
long,
understand.
long lost son.
He played in the same era as Aaron Donald.
That don't matter.
Listen.
for me.
Yeah. Fool, stop all this. Stop your line. Listen. You played in the same era and him. You probably got a little deal to say, man, don't hit me on this play. That's 'cause
Not Aaron
He
Donald.
said you on the book.
No, not Aaron
Stop.
Donald. No. That's
What?
not Aaron Donald. He got the same mindset that you had. I heard Aaron Donald. This is when I knew this dude was different, and you would have loved playing with Aaron Donald. We had our guard one of his defensive tackles. I'm talking about driving to the sideline, put him on the ground. Aaron Donald grabbed his teammate, a grown man, grabbed him like this and said, if you ever effing let him, a player do that to you again, you will never be on this field.
You know how many people he done probably did that to?
But my thing, when I look at the game, I look at the impact, Aaron Donald, he can play all positions. Was you going at the 0 tech, 1 tech, 2 tech?
Man, listen, whoa, listen. Hey, listen, before you do your
you ain't a
show,
defensive
when you need to be in your daggone locker room studying and knowing the story of the person you're going to interview.
I know the
because listen, I do it all, okay? I do everything. No, I coach too. Yeah, I do everything.
Would you even put Aaron Donald in the conversation for greatest
Absolutely. Defensive
of all time? All time.
of all time.
Give us your top
you put him
five.
in the
Give us your
conversation?
top 5 greatest
I would
defensive
put him.
players.
I would put him in top 5 of all
He's
time.
pushing OG. He's pushing you.
Okay, so you what you want me to give you what
Give
now?
me your top 5. You won.
We know you won.
Okay, Reggie White,
Okay.
Deacon Jones,
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Deacon Jones?
See, he going errors. See?
No, but that's real though. Deacon Jones was a.
Deacon Jones? Man, listen, home.
I'm not.
You know how many? You know what? How many people that he done made death with that daggone hand slap to the ear and stuff? I mean, listen.
That's a good point.
Hell.
It's a very good point.
He created a move for you, right?
Man, listen, I used to tap that helmet all day.
That's why you can't hit nobody in the head no more.
No, but probably, I really
Deion Sanders up there?
if you call him all positions, yeah, I got to put him up there too. Of course, Deion Sanders, you know, probably number 4. I like Ronnie Lott. I did think Ronnie Lott is a hell of a player. I mean,
So we're at 5, and Aaron Donald's not in the list.
Yes,
Wait, no, but listen, but I'll put him on the list if y'all want me to.
Hey, it's Brandon's guy.
What's one person that you just like, I can't wait to play his ass?
I mean, that's a lot of different people. I mean, all depends on, you know, what situation is that. Are you talking about a quarterback? You talking about a running back?
I'm
You talking about what?
up front. I want to know, like, when you say goddamn, like, for instance.
Do I want an easy day or do I want a hard day?
A hard day.
I want a hard day.
Yeah, I'm talking about who gave you the hardest day.
Who gave you crazy work?
Yeah.
Hashtag crazy
Easy
work.
day. You had a lot of easy days.
I got to sit there. You guys be talking to me, and then y'all saying certain things that crazy work. I'm fine. Now I got to
trying to
disseminate
figure out
what
what
the
is
crazy
crazy
work is.
The infamous Shady McCoy says he is out
New
here. Crazy work.
Hey, I'm trying to break this stuff down. Like, hey, that's why I ain't took my eye off you yet.
Who gave you the biggest problems? That's what crazy work is.
I would say probably physically, it was a cat from he's a Hall of Famer from what's
Philly?
it? No, none of that, none of those. What was his name? He's from Kansas City. Come on, give me something.
That's not my area.
Come on.
Oh, y'all was wearing leather helmets.
Was
You talking about like I know each other.
It was a lineman. When I first came in, and he was, and it was like it was hard. And then the first 2 years of Joe Jacoby's reign was tough. And then I learned. Let me tell you this story here. Don't tell nobody. Okay. So
Got me leaning in like,
Joe Jacoby used to wear my ass out because he was so big. You know, he's 6'9", 330-some pounds, right? And trying to get around that, sometimes that's a long day. So we're playing Washington Redskins, all right? And, you know, after curfew's at 11, so, you know, I went out about 11:30, you know. So, me too. So I'm sitting in the bar, man. I'm just before I get drunk as a skunk, right?
before the game.
You know a better time?
As a pillar of health, it's not like this story so far.
I mean, what's wrong? But listen, so I go. I'm playing Joe Jacoby again, and you know, just playing. All of a sudden, it is a passing play. You know, you gotta say it, because I'm thinking to myself, man, shit, hey, he's gonna wear my ass out. So I don't have my shoes tied, you know, face mask. I ain't buckled nothing, right?
Leather straps.
So
You out there thugging.
I rush up and I run up to him, and he freezes, and I freeze. So he went to extend his arms on me, snapped him down, went around, hit the quarterback right dead in the back of the head. Wow. Next play, I did the same thing. I just like I'm drunk, I run on up there, stop, and he would try to hit me, and then I just go around it, right? I call it my drunk move.
This is a true story.
Hey, every game for the next 5-6 years, I wore his ass out every game. It got to a point where they had to, they started hiding him. You know, like, you know, I moved from side to side. They started, no, Joe. You put it, hey, wherever LT is, you go on the other side. Because I was killing it, mom.
So one of the things that we was talking about when we was up in our room, he said we need to do our research and watch.
No, he said you need to do your research and watch. He
Yeah,
didn't
but
say
I was
anything
teeing
about me
him up.
packing
I was
Omar.
teeing you up. I was teeing you up.
Okay, tee me up then.
I
Go
was
ahead.
teeing you up. But one of the things that we talked about was like, how do we start the show? And we talked about stories, right? You know, you're a legend, and we respect you so much, and we're so thankful that you're sitting on the show because you don't do this.
I know.
And when I think about sitting down with legends, I think about just literally that, like, yo, tell us this. Tell us about MJ. Tell us about Bill Parcells. So, you know, I want to do that, like story time. That's what we talked about.
We want to know about that Jordan golf game.
Yeah.
Okay, hey. Cashier right over there. Just see the cashier. Hey, I don't talk for free.
You can't give us the MJ story?
What story you want on MJ? MJ's we play golf. We went to school. We didn't go together, but when I came back to school, he was there, and we play a lot of golf. So good friends.
Is it true he bets on anything?
Everything and anything. He'll bet on 2 grasshoppers trying to get across the daggone street. I tell you, he'll bet on everything, anything. But you know what? He's smart. He's a smart guy. He must be taking that Predigen. Maybe that's what he's taking. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's taking. But he's a smart guy and a hell of a competitor. I mean, hey, all he cares about is win. Okay? We don't care how.
Who got the better golf
Let's
game?
win. I probably did, but I'm probably not as strong now as I used to be with him.
But you know why we talk about it all the time? I tell you all the time, you need to come in here and work out and train. But
Man,
you don't want to do
listen,
it.
I'll be
And your
plenty
golf game
time for
won't be
me to
slipping,
work
and
out
your
when
ga-
I'm dead. I'll have a plenty time to work out.
And then you keep talking about you're retired. You're not retired. You
I
play
am
golf
retired.
every day.
What?
You play golf every day, so you're really not
No,
retired.
I'm retired. What do you think retired people do?
Yeah, but it's still
play
physical.
golf.
He's
Play
still
golf.
going out there
That's what
exerting
retired
himself.
people do.
That's
You're
what
still
we're-
exerting yourself.
I didn't say that I was retired from life. I was retired from work.
football.
So all I'm saying is,
What are you
you
saying?
can
He ain't
still
working
be
out no
better than MJ if you actually came in here trained, got in the sauna, got an
Who
IV.
says I'm not
went up
better than MJ?
You just said it.
It goes back and forth. I mean, listen, I play a lot of different people. I mean, listen, I would love to play your monkey ass.
I've been trying to get out there with
Yeah,
3 years.
Well,
He beat
yeah,
me
yeah.
last
But
time,
yeah,
I
listen,
can't say
hey,
You got you.
you told, you gave me your card on the plane 2 years ago, and you want to call me yesterday. Okay, thank you.
Well, first off, on that plane ride that you was talking about, you know, I said misunderstood, right? When they sit down with some of us, they don't know what they're getting, you know, and that's one facet of our life when we on camera, just people.
Okay, of course,
Right.
of course.
It was probably right around like 10 p.m. that night. You know what you did when you got on that flight? You remember?
No, I think I went to sleep, didn't I?
No, you got out of your first class seat and you told a lady to take your first class seat and you went in the back and you sat in her seat.
Oh, because she wanted to sit with her husband, though. I didn't want to sit with him.
But you went to coach from first class.
I don't mind that. That don't bother me.
But I think that brings up a good conversation because those stories, I mean, obviously that was a story between the two of you, but there were other people.
And nobody would ever know.
There were other people on that plane, right? So like those are the stories that normally go unnoticed. But the stories that don't paint you in the best light are often told and repeated
Really?
generations and
Wow.
years, and they're not always the most factual. There's, you know, whenever you get a story, and especially in an era where there was no social media and things like that, and cameras and things to get exactly what happened, it's like a tall tale. It starts to change form. So has there ever been a story that you've heard about yourself years after it happened that's not even remotely close to how it actually went down?
Oh, wow. I don't really listen to a lot of stories and stuff. I mean, I really don't even think about it because, you know, I don't. You know, it is what it is. I know it's going to be in the paper. It's going to be there. It doesn't change who I deal with. It doesn't change who my friends are. It doesn't change who my parents are. It doesn't change who my kids are. It doesn't change.
Driving down the highway the lights are on. There's some
I've
there's
seen all of
athletes.
them.
There's athletes that have legendary stories. You're probably number one. They say you were driving down the highway, boom, Giant Stadium is lit up, and you were like, I have a game tonight. Is that true or not?
I didn't know I had a game, but because that was the first time they had Sunday night football. We don't do Sunday night football. It's always been Monday night. I just didn't realize Sunday. Yeah, I was kind of wrong. I was late. I got there though.
You was late to the
I
game?
had a hell of a game though.
Pac in the production meeting and his wonderful wife were talking about how when Pac was playing, you avoided ESPN and a lot of those sports networks because every time you turned it on, it was Pac.
Hell yeah,
Pac
they-
did this.
and-
Pac did that. Pac did this. Was that a similar experience for you? Like, did you avoid a lot of things during your career because you knew I'm going to be the headline? Oh, it's going to be me.
Apparently not. No, I didn't avoid anything. I mean, hey,
What's up, Chef?
I do what I do. You know, I play football.
So we got Chef Danie here. We like to break bread. I know we'll get back to that. That was a great question. Chef Danie is our resident chef. She's the best.
Okay.
And we like to break bread.
Y'all go ahead and break bread.
We have an Asian fusion salad, so it has some tropical flavor to it, and it's glazed with some sesame, red ginger, and a little bit of teriyaki. And it's also topped with some crispy onions and a mango salsa because we are in Miami. So.
You mentioned earlier that you didn't care how people portrayed you or how people thought of you.
I didn't care. Just like anybody else, I can be your greatest friend or your worst enemy, either one. And to me, it's not about me, it's about how you handle it, how you want to handle it. I do anything for anybody, but at the end of the day, I won't be made a fool of. Simple
Well,
as
how
that.
do you get to that point? Because Brandon alluded to it, and Pac, I mean, obviously you can speak on this. How do you get to, because everyone's human, and everyone has a trigger, and you hear enough of a lot of things about you. I mean,
I've
Nicki
heard
Minaj,
enough of them. I've heard it all.
Right.
I've heard it all.
right? But like
Good
Nicki
and the
Minaj
bad.
did an interview, and she said humans are not designed to hear everyone's opinions about them, and social media has made it worse, obviously, because now it's like in your palm of your hand. But how do you get to the point where it doesn't matter? Because at one point it had to feel a type of way.
At one point, that's a long time ago, but I'm 64 years old. I'm not studying that shit no more. Come on now, guys. Listen, if I go to the grave, I'm gonna be dapping God. I had a ball, man.
We got a time, boy.
You sat down with so many amazing people, right?
Yes.
And in the most intimate settings, right? When you feed somebody or cook for someone, give them that type of experience in their home, right? You see all of them. In those moments, you're seeing them in their most intimate setting. Like, what have you seen the best do when it comes to the outside perception and that public critique?
Well, there's a lot of people that I know that have a no TV policy in their homes. So like they do not watch, they do not read about themselves. Like basically their house is their sanctuary. And this is where they need to have peace. If there's anywhere else they need to have peace, it needs to be home. So whether it's their kids talking about certain things, do not talk about that stuff at home. Do not, put it on ESPN highlights if, something happened today. Do not go on Twitter and read those comments. Do not go on YouTube and read those comments either, because everyone is going to have something to say. It doesn't matter how great you are. Everyone has something to say about everybody. You got something to say about Oprah. You got something to say about Gandhi. You have something to say about God. Everyone has something to say about every single entity on this planet. And what I love that he said is basically like, it's really your perception, like how you are going to be perceived by somebody is up to them. But as long as you know yourself, you don't give a about what anybody thinks.
I know that social media on my neck. That's what I know for a fact.
No, but you can't care about social media though.
How do you deal with that? Because you had a moment when we first introduced you. great engagement.
Welcome to the
loved
real
it.
world.
And then there was a comment. There was like, twisting of words where the Beyonce, the Kelly Rowland thing between
I
you
blame
and.
Shady McCoy for that.
But I felt like you came in the studio the next day, and I was like, Ash, you okay? And you said you had some other. You said I'm tired.
No, I genuinely was tired.
But okay, so how do
Yeah.
you deal with the comments?
I think
And it's definitely hard for women in sports.
It's definitely hard for them because you're already coming from a deficit, right? You're a woman, you're a woman of color, you're a black woman, so you're at a negative already, right? So I think that it gets easier with time to kind of filter out and ignore it, like you say. But again, I'm human and things trickle through, and it's like, damn, that stung a little bit.
Right.
But it's also the rationale that you come to. It's like, Pat can say, oh, we don't need you here, you're a woman. Like let's keep the boys here. This is a man's show. And I can have an opinion about that and go back at him, but is it gonna change his opinion? So it's like you're almost talking to a wall.
But here's the problem right now, and we talked about this earlier, about the social media age and can you exist in the social media age. As athletes, we're taught we don't read the fucking paper. We're not watching that stuff. The greats don't.
Y'all do.
As an athlete, if you let that creep in, that's when it fucks you up. But now in the social media world, you read in the comments, because you got to engage with your audience and your fans. So that now more creeps in. I don't read comments. I'm not on YouTube and listening to what the fans are saying about our episodes. I act like an athlete. When you talked about routine and structure, I'm still that same way. I'm not reading that shit. But in this age, everybody has to engage with their audience. So that's what I'm saying,
It's
Omar.
also harder to avoid it. And I think that the natural response, like if I come up to you and I start firing off on you with my words, like people do behind a keyboard, your first reaction is always to defend yourself. It's a natural reaction. If someone just comes into your space and starts chirping, your first reaction is to be like, whoa, what'd you just say?
Not
like,
as an athlete.
Right, and especially an athlete when you're a competitor and you're always on go, it's hard to turn that
I
off
don't see too many
sometimes.
athletes that's chirping and arguing with folks.
All the
Like
time.
maybe a fan, they be like, shit. Athletes ain't arguing
All the
like
time.
that, man.
Arguing
On
what?
Twitter, man.
Arguing back and forth on Twitter.
Katie had a whole
With the
burner
fans,
account
with the
for it.
fans.
Oh, I don't know.
Kevin Durant had an
No, not
entire
your era,
burner
not
account
your
to
era.
help
Some
him do
athletes
that.
do. I'm not saying that's all, but the great athletes are the ones that do a good job. You have those boundaries. Hey, don't turn on the TV. We're not reading the news. We're not doing that. That's what I'm saying.
Of course, but I think it's also harder for this younger generation of athletes to do that because their
because
life
of the
is
Instagram
connected
and
to
Twitter.
this. Their
You got a
brand
point.
deals are connected to this. They're going on
Yeah.
Instagram Live. They're going on Twitter. They're live tweeting, games and communicate. It's harder because their business
Right.
that used to be separate is now all in the palm of their hand. So it's very hard to kind of trickle out and separate the bad from the good when everything is compounded into one entity, which is your phone.
Let me ask you, Chef Danie, how do you deal with misperception when something's out there that's not inaccurate about you? How do you attack that?
Whew. Usually it's just posting the narrative that I want out there, to be honest. So it's just correcting it from my point of view. So whether it's my stories or a post that I do, and then I'll have it in the captions and stuff. I do go on Twitter, and that's pretty much where I kind of sound off a little bit more. But yeah, you will hear it from me because I'm very transparent.
I've gotten into some wars on Twitter. I had to.
No, you can't go back and forth,
Girl.
You can't go
Not
back and
anymore.
forth.
I'm trying to tell her.
Are you
Yeah,
on
you
social
can't
media
go back
right
and
now?
forth.
Me personally,
Yes.
I don't do that.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why? Because, and I say why, you got the earring in that says LT. You're LT, a human, but you're also a brand and you're a legend. So social media now is about monetization. If you're on social media, you could potentially generate more money.
I heard that.
He's like, I heard about this
He's
theory.
like, and what's your point?
No, but see, guys, let me tell you something. I'm like this. Do I really want people to know where I'm at 24 hours a day? No.
Right.
That's it.
What if it generated another $300,000 a month? Would you do it?
300,000. That's but see, I could. How much alimony would that pay?
Ooh, that's a good way to look at it. A little extra.
But social media doesn't. You being on social media, they don't need to know where you are. You could be discreet on social
No,
media.
but see, listen. I mean, at the end of the day, come on now. At the end of the day, I can't control what goes on social media. You know what? Me and Trish would sit down and we'd try to dig on, and my daughter will have some stuff that she would post out, but I don't do it. But then if you give somebody the opportunity to do it, then you have no control of what's going out there.
Right.
You don't know what's going to be said and how people are going to view it and stuff. And I don't really give a hell if they view it, but I'm happy just being me, guys. That's all. That's all I want to do is be me.
So this is why this conversation is important for me, right? And from a brand standpoint, athletes are brand. Like literally that earring that you're wearing over the last 3 to 4 years, it's come
brand.
back. Saquon, Odell has
Mm-hmm.
worn that, right? And you inspired that, you know. But the problem now is that athletes, and it's corny saying, but it gets to the point. We put the fame before the game, right? Because, like, this is the way. Like, look, I'm a football player. I'm going to handle my business. But now the business around football is so much bigger and greater.
It is.
Not the
I know.
football, of
Listen.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never said saying that my approach to it isn't outdated, because it probably is. Because now it's a whole different story nowadays. The things that are around the NFL, or even just business you have right here, man. Hey, if it wasn't for NFL,
My point. Say it.
Well,
say it.
huh?
Say it. If it wasn't for the NFL, what?
You wouldn't have this.
You be
Right.
no, I'm just
right.
kidding. I'm just
But
kidding.
no, that
But
but we
no.
have a
That
lot
was
of
our way
athletes.
out. That was
Yeah,
our
I'm
way
serious.
out.
I mean, listen. Hey, look. Hey, 20 years ago, would a black man walk into a place with dreads and expect to get a conference with the
Hell
head
no.
guys of this of Sony and such and such? No, it wouldn't have. No.
Hell no.
Well, I mean,
Right.
you say 20 years ago.
Well, but
2000
maybe
He's
that
right.
meant 20.
He's right.
not
2018.
20, maybe.
2018, I was playing for your team, the Giants, and they knew it was the end of my career. And Network hit up my agent and said, because I just started growing out my dreads. It was like, yo, we love Brandon, we want him, but is he going to cut his hair? That was in
Yeah,
2018.
I mean, back in the day, you couldn't have walk around like that.
But I think that's the same for women. When I was starting in my career, I would wear my hair curly often. And
But you look good with curly hair.
well, thank you. But I remember
Time
when,
has changed. And
when
curly
I
hair's more
when I
acceptable now.
but when I started working in television, they would say, the straight hair works better.
Really?
Yeah, and my hair was damaged for years from constantly flat ironing it because the curls were not appreciated in the way that they are now. This was like what, 8 years ago? It
Yeah.
was the straight hair is just it's
Natural
better for
hair
TV.
is in vogue. Now they're making fake hair that looks like natural hair.
But
That's a big- that's
but
a-
it's
that's a
crazy
big
because even
business.
Omar, even when I was a little girl, products for curly hair, products for any hair with a type of kink, any type of biracial hair, it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. It did not exist. And now it's drastically different. So it takes a while for things to change and people to go ahead and help push that change. It happens, but it's crazy when you're around to see that change actually happen.
And we'll have more of these conversations for Black History Month, but what I've found over the last couple of years since 2020 is that the Black experience can be different for other people. Like the Black man experience is totally different than the Black woman experience. Because I never thought that you guys had that challenge on TV.
1000%. I was going on E! News, and honestly, like my publicist told me, she was like, "What are you gonna do with your hair?" That's when I was like, I went through a period of just wearing wigs, so I could just have the straight hair look all the time.
Not only did I have straight hair, but I was a blonde.
Just to make yourself more acceptable.
So you could be a little bit more cafe con leche.
I also kind of went blonde because Beyonce is a blonde, so it wasn't fully that. But I was a blonde, and I had
you know about
straight.
Beyonce mentioning Beyonce name.
So let me ask you this question before we move on. What type of advice would you give, a Black woman or any woman for that matter, as far as being themselves, being unapologetic, being fearless, and
I think the space is more conducive for that now because, we were talking about this yesterday. there's more outlets for you to be original and to be authentic than it was 10 years ago. You know, at least from the broadcasting side, there used to only be the big networks. And if you didn't conform, you weren't getting a job. Now, platforms like this, All the Smoke yesterday and a few others, it allows you to be more authentic. But so I think that this next generation of journalists, and I'm only speaking from the journalistic standpoint because that's what I know, will have it a lot easier because there are going to be so many more options for them to choose from that they're not going to have to conform to something that's not authentic to them to get a job, to get their foot in the door. And I'm happy that I'm able, along with some other people in the industry, to kind of be a pioneer in opening those doors because it makes it a lot easier for them than it was for me when I was starting in my career.
And what about you, Chef Danie?
It was pretty much creating like enough value within myself in a brand so I can walk through these doors and be like, this is who I am and you can't change that. So just like she said, opening the doors for other people, but also kicking the door down of what people perceived what was supposed, like what it's supposed to be. So like, they're like, wow, I didn't know a chef could look like that or do that or whatnot. So it's just really just showing them that we're creatives, we're all creatives, and we're all our own businesses and own entities. So how dare you try to change us and conform us?
That's so good. That's so good. I'm so like happy that we have y'all perspective on this season and on this platform now.
Do you think with the style of play that you played, do you think you could have played in this era?
Yeah, if I didn't want a paycheck, yeah. Kick me out of the game every week. Now, but yeah, I can play in an era. I think I can. I mean, I am rugged enough to play in this era. I don't know. That's a hard question, man.
Could you have cleaned your game up though? The violence, the
it was
aggression.
clean. That was clean as I could get it. I was clean.
Then you can't play in this era. Then.
It might be a problem. It might be a problem. Might be a problem. I may have to play a different position. Maybe have to move to the inside, where it's a little bit.
Only Aaron Donald can move in the inside.
Only.
We're back. We're back to Aaron Donald.
Don't do that.
Huh? What you mean?
We
I played inside.
Huh?
You too young.
I played. Know your history.
When?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Tell me.
Okay.
See, he's about to school you. See how he sat up?
Oh my God.
Look what you made him do. He was comfortable.
Don't do what you did on the inside the NFL a couple years
After
ago.
receiving 2 consecutive defensive player of the year, going into my 3rd year, thought I should have got it my 3rd year too, but I played inside linebacker for Harry Carson. Harry Carson went down for 12 games, and I had to play inside.
Yeah, but
linebacker. You talking about defensive tackle?
I'm talking about defensive tackle.
He played that too.
That's what makes, to me, that's what makes Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald don't play linebacker.
That's what makes Aaron Donald. I know, but
you young.
But you
young.
Hand in the dirt. Hand in the dirt. This is the center.
You young.
You the center.
You young.
Aaron Donald can do this.
Boss.
That's the center.
Boss.
You
You
the
know what?
you the tight end. You the
tell you
tackle.
what.
Aaron Donald can come out here and do this. Aaron Donald can
What
go
did I
back
tell
to the,
you
to the
earlier?
linebacker.
He
You
ain't
got to
playing
know
no
your
linebacker.
history.
Okay.
You got to
He
go.
did
You got to
everything.
go and look at. You got. I used to play inside.
He did everything.
I played. Except I would kick the daggone tackle out to the end, and I would play inside.
He decided where he wanted to
Man,
play
I
before the
decided
snap.
where I wanted to play. Wherever the weak link is, that's where I'm going.
He created his own defense.
Bill Parcells
Hey, learn
created
your-
it.
No,
Bill
they-
Parcells
after
created
him.
it.
What you talking about? After him, created it because of him.
Let's get Bill on the phone right now.
I'm calling. Let's FaceTime him.
Listen.
I'm going to FaceTime him.
No, I'm gonna see if I got his number.
Listen,
I got it. Let's
Bill
FaceTime him.
created that defense because of him.
No,
Like
no.
he
It's
picked where
actually
he wanted to
happening.
play.
We're going to get to it. We're going to get
Bill
to
ain't
it.
picking up
When
no
you sit down
FaceTime.
with the greats, we want to know the history. We need to know. The game needs to know. He ain't picking up. Call him. He might pick up for you. Or do y'all good? Because he said something. He said y'all have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I'd love to hate each other.
Where y'all at now?
No, we good. We always good.
Bill is not
But
picking
this
up no
is
FaceTime.
well, I mean, we're back to Aaron Donald, but we were talking about this in production, pre-production, about the layers of greatness. And I think that when we talk about GOATs and we talk about greatness, some people have a very specific idea what that looks like, what that person looks like. You know, we talk about Tom Brady, and outside of, his recent personal issues, there hasn't been anything about Brady that can make anybody
But
say,
it's the era.
What does that
Right.
matter,
You
though?
think
but
I'm
that's
a-
my point.
I'm not-
do
Why-
people acknowledge the layers of greatness, and that greatness doesn't always come in one form, one persona, one look, one career, one lifestyle, that it can exist? It's a very broad spectrum of what that looks like. Is
Joe
it fair
Montana's
that
still
people...
my man. He's still my man. I mean, let's just say, hey, a greatest quarterback stuff. Hey, I'm still with Joe Montana. I'm not going with Tom Brady.
Why?
Man, listen. Tom Brady got all the rules on his side. You can't touch him. You know, he said, listen, you can't touch him. If you hit him, if you breathe on him, they're going to throw a flag. I don't understand how he drops back 8 yards and he's sitting in a little cocoon and they're not sending people at him. Why the defense not sending people? Man, let me tell you something. See, and that would have been a penalty because if I was playing, if I'm playing, I'm hitting him every play. Listen, even if I had this pat on my ass, I was right there beside you, brother. hey.
Were you smacking Joe?
Oh yeah, Montana. Yeah, I tell you a good story about.
Did you take it easy on Joe, like going into a game?
I don't take it easy.
Okay.
I play fair. I don't play dirty, but I'm gonna give you what I got because you deserve that right to have what I got. You know, I'm gonna let you sit there and pussyfoot with you, and you done paid your money already to see the game.
You're gonna tell us a story.
So we sitting there, and back in the day where you run out of the pocket. He's heading for the sideline. So, and I'm coming up and I'm right on him. The sideline right here. So, hey, listen, you're not gonna hit him, and because you got respect for him, so you're not gonna hit him, try to knock him into the bleachers or something. So I just let him run out of bounds. Some turned up though, went and got 12 more yards and got the first down. I walked over to him just as nice as I could. I said, "Motherfucker, you do that again, I will." You up. He said, and he apologized. He said, "You know what? You're absolutely right. I shouldn't have done that." Yeah, and he apologized. So
in the game,
me and him, yeah,
in the game.
Okay.
But Pat, I want to...
I'm so sorry. Is there another story like that? I don't know, like MJ, Bill Parcells, Phil Simms. Like, man, that's the history right there. Is there another story like that you can give us? Those legendary moments? Anything. It's you. Anything.
Like when you told that story right there,
yeah.
I know it's a regular story to you, but it ain't a regular story to us athletes. Like, we like, what?
Athletes.
He said he was finna do. He said, told that motherfucker. This GM will kill you, motherfucker.
It's simple. It's simple. I mean, there's stories everywhere. Just
John Elway.
John Elway, we only played him a couple times a year.
Bill Parcells.
What about
Parcells.
Bill?
Bill Parcells. Y'all got two alphas in the same facility every
Okay,
single
I
day.
mean, I could tell you one. Everybody knows this story about Bill Parcells when I first got there.
Yes.
Everybody knows that. We went from the one defense to the 3-4 defense. Went to the 3-4 defense, and I was just a rookie. So my first day in training camp. And I was on the third team. I stayed on the third team for about 10 minutes. And then I moved.
10.
About 10
Whole
minutes.
10.
Yeah, about 10 minutes. And then I was on second team for like about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. And then they put me on the first team. Well, that week of practice, that couple weeks of practice, we practiced. And man, I'm telling you, I'm telling them everything, I'm studying everything, and I was the best athlete out there. Didn't have a player like me.
That's
of
true.
course.
I know.
And every play, Parcells was on my ass. Every play. It's like I couldn't do nothing right. I mean, I could rush the quarterback just about to tackle him. He throws the ball 50 yards downfield. I turn around and knock the pass down, and he said, "What are you doing down there? Why are you there? Why are you downfield 50 yards? He ain't supposed to be down there." So he just kept on to the point I wanted to quit. So I went to Bill Parcells, and I said, "Hey, You can trade me, you can cut me, you can put John Scorepan back in here in front of me. I don't care what you do. But I said, I don't work like that. I can't play football like that. If you yell at me every play, I said, no. So I said, listen, you're going to have to get the hell off my back. And Parcells, he looked at me. He said, okay, I'm going to let you do it your way. But when you screw up, you got to do it my way.
Ooh.
I said, okay. Bill ain't say to me for the next 10 years.
What about any stories involving my Dallas Cowboys?
No, they suck.
Bill Belichick was on that team, right?
Yeah,
Did you have some time with Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick was, when I first got there, he was assistant special team coach. In year 2, he was special team coach. In year 3, when Parcells got the head job, he became the defensive coordinator. I went to the office and I asked Parcells, I said, what the hell are you doing? I said, no, I'm not going to be coached by Bill Belichick. He said, let me tell you something else. He said, listen, all the defenses that we run right now, he said, hey, they're all designed by Bill Belichick. I gave him a chance, allowed him to go ahead and do it. Loud, but I mean,
That's
you
cool.
said it right. You said it
But
right. You
that's
said it
cool
right.
that listen, we spoke about Tom Brady and how he's not your GOAT, and we talk about Bill Belichick, and the conversation was when Brady left New England and went to Tampa Bay, whatever you want to call it. The conversation was, does Tom need Bill or does Bill need Tom? Who's more responsible for the success of the other? So what do you
I
think?
think Belichick is responsible for his development once he got out there and started doing this thing. But I still think the NFL has something to do with it. They don't let nobody hit him.
If you had to pick one,
They create the big
you are the owner of the new franchise,
Okay.
and you had to pick either Bill Belichick or Tom Brady.
his
You going with the
prime, in
head
his
coach
prime,
or you
in his
go
prime.
Oh,
in
we-
his prime?
Yeah.
Bill Belichick or Tom Brady?
Or Tom
You
Brady
only get one.
in his prime?
To start your organization, number one move.
To start my organization. Damn. I'm telling you the truth. I'm taking Belichick.
Ooh.
I'm taking Belichick. He's the coach. He's going to find other players. He's going to find players out there that can play. And as long as they can tune into his system, what he has going up there. I don't know what's going up there, but what he has going up there. Because I'll tell you what, he's complicated. Sometimes he used to come, we'd go to practice and stuff, and he'll wake me up and in the meetings. Listen,
He said, "Wake me up."
And you caught that, right? You caught that, right?
He said, "Wake me up."
Excuse me. We're doing something here. Wake up.
Right.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here.
Sometimes he will wake you up.
The audacity of that man to wake you up during a meeting. How
Finish
rude
that.
of him.
Finish that.
thought, yes.
Finish that and tell the people how you used to sleep and when you came to practice.
No. Well, it's not that I slept. I mean,
It's a little cat nap, right?
I
A little
mean-
cat nap.
long night.
But how did
But
they,
listen.
Go ahead. How do they tolerate that, though?
What? Because, first of all, I've been playing this defense for daggone 5-6 years now. Who knows they're going to stack cover 2 better than I did? Who knows it? I know you don't know who knows cover 3 better than I do? Who knows that they're going to pass the Russian routes better than I do?
Yeah, but when you're playing against the Cowboys and they go trips right and then they
We
flare-
don't care.
It-
I don't care how many people. Listen, now when I was in my early career, yes, I couldn't fix who is what, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. But now I'm in year 6, I'm in year 7, I'm in year 8, I'm in year 9, and you can't sit, line them up anywhere on that daggone football field that I don't know what they're doing. There's nowhere. I'm saying, listen, if
It goes to your greatness, though.
If I dare go and find, if there's a guy out there that I don't know what he's doing, then they got 13 people on the field. Okay.
So
I got
when
a
he woke
question.
you up, what did he tell you?
But he told me what I already knew.
He said, he looked at me, you woke me up for
Wasting
this?
his time.
I knew that already.
Come on. He told me what I already knew. I mean, you talk about, all right, where do you go and so, and where did, and not only I go this and that, I tell you, everybody goes. I know, listen, you can't run a defense that I don't know.
Right.
You can't do it. It's impossible.
I just find that some of the greatest athletes have this crazy sports IQ, right? Whether it's basketball, football, and you can't really explain it. You know, you go out there, you feel it, and the coach's like, why the hell you do that? I just can't.
I was very, 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 very lucky. I got a coach like Bill Parcells. Then I had a defensive coordinator like Belichick. I had an owner like the Marisol who allowed me to do a whole lot of things, but they should have sent me home a long time ago. Some great teammates. Every time I went out on that football field, I had fun. It wasn't until later on, after year 10, year 11, then it's no more fun.
Do you think you would still be regarded as one of the GOATs had you not had all those things you just mentioned?
If I didn't have it,
You had a different experience. If it wasn't that experience,
Belichick and Bill Parcells.
would the outcome of your
the
career
Giants.
have
If you
still
play-
been
I
the
don't care
same?
where I would have gone, I would have been a good player.
Yeah.
But I think I was really lucky to get Belichick and Parcells at this stage of coaching, because both of them was out to prove something. You know what? And luckily, so was I. So yeah.
Who created the Big Blue Wrecking Crew?
The Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
Founding members, myself, Harry Carson, Brad Van Pelt, and Brian Kelly.
So, appreciate you coming on. To end the show, you know, it's always a blessing, you know, to hear from you guys and those amazing
You
stories.
guys, we mean the old guys?
The legends.
Oh, you mean the old guys? You
You're a
mean
legend, you're a
the
legend.
That's what he meant.
The mature guys.
And
Okay.
we really, but we're really
pioneers.
not. We're really not saying it right. There's good, there's
OGs.
great, there's OGs, there's legends, but like he's up there
GOATs.
with
He's a
the,
GOAT.
the GOATs, right? Yeah.
I mean, he's the only defensive player to win league MVP.
So appreciate all the stories, but to end the show, I want to hear, what does the next 10 years look like for you?
Me and OJ Anderson, we have a company together, which we do trade shows and stuff. We're our first team marketing. We cater to diverse suppliers, and that's doing pretty well. And actually, you know what? I just enjoy it. I had number 14, number 15, 14th or 15. My youngest grandchild. My oldest is is over 21. He's in the Army. I don't know. I just
You happy? You happy?
It
You
doesn't
happy?
take it doesn't take much to make
You
me
happy?
happy. It doesn't take much. Give me 2 fish sandwiches. I'm happy.
So you're happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I got my love of my life with me, and I am. I'm ecstatic. I'm happy as hell.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
I couldn't. You know what? And for a while, I thought I could never be happy again. But I am. I'm happy.
Why did you think you could never be happy?
Life, sometimes every time no matter how much you plan, something always goes wrong.
It's always gonna be a bump in the road.
There's always gonna be a bump somewhere.
And
Was it
the
your love
big
of your
part.
life was the one that got you out of that rut?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. This shoot, a couple of years ago I was a mess, but I'm cool now.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm cool.
You look good, brother.
Appreciate you guys rocking with I Am Athlete. Another episode with a GOAT. Don't forget to subscribe.
The GOAT.
Like,
Himothy.
Download wherever you get your
Himothy.
Timothy Lawrence.
Himothy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had to fight to get a meal. Yeah, wrongfully accused. We had to fight to get the pills. That's why we right to get a deal. He on the team, he gotta eat, you know. Despite the skills, keep it riding for the fam. You gotta light the wheels straight up. But in the past bad, work up in the trash bag. I'll pass a lot to take the test before I pass class. Yeah, and my family needed bread. I had to come correct. That's why I keep airing it out like I just passed gas.